From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening on Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 tonight. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check the Democrats still want you to have and why they want you to potentially have more months of checks. Then we'll be cutting it to the recon and why that recon will have other sums of money on top of the checks in there the Democrats represent. It's incredible great news. We, in the third part of this video, go over the breaking news as Chuck Schumer speaks out about the vote. I'll go over the vote, the bills, plural, and everything you need to know, including that July 4th, July 15th, and all the dates across the board. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, as Commissioner Saul, the head of the Social Security Administration, fired. The shocking breaking news on Friday, I'll explain its impact on your fifth stimulus, if at all. And then we cut to the big money that viewers continue to get, $10,000 to $20,000. It's a big night with a lot of big money, and I'm here to get you that big money. And away we go on a big evening of Evenings Lalate. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Hope you're having a beautiful evening where you're tuned in from. How is the weather where you are? It is warmer here in Southern California tonight, but hopefully it settles down because I don't know if I can endure all summer this hot. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather where you are tonight. In this fourth stimulus check recording this evening, we'll be going over those monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats represent they're going to give you potentially more checks now that the pandemic's not over. We'll be cutting to the recon process and why that recon will have other stimulus in there for you as well. And then we go over the vote, the bills, the dates, everything you've been asking, and everything will be answered. In the final 15 minutes of this video, state of the very final 15 minutes, it's jam-packed with the breaking news from Chuck Schumer speaking out in just the last few hours. Then we cut to fifth stimulus as fifth stimulus reforms the Social Security Administration. But on Friday, its head, Commissioner Saul, fired by the president. I'll go over what the breaking news is about this and how this impacts or doesn't impact your money. And then we cut to the big money across the board that viewers continue to get on Evenings LA last night. Viewers getting $13,000 a person for rent, $23,000, $15,000, big massive sums of money. I'll go over how you can get that and more. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons, just like right now. Right before the show was Afternoons Lalate, but coming up right after this video is Overnight's Crypto. Stay on this video, it'll take you automatically there. Then Evening's Crypto. And then Sirloin is back. Move on over at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year for a reason. The most comprehensive and the most successful financial news channel there is in America, delivering you everything you need to know to be financially stable. Also, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check starting right now. House bill, Senate proposal, both monthly, but when you look at the provisions, suddenly it gets quite fascinating. So, the House bill, monthly for the remainder of the pandemic, plus 1 year. Senate, July to December. House, $1,000 after the first month of 2000. And monthly payout for the Senate, unknown, but word on the street is this. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Deliciousness, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Wow, that is per person. Now, the breaking news tonight is, of course, how many months of checks? Well, 2 weeks ago, we were saying the pandemic's over for purpose of legislation. So that would just mean that the House bill was 12 months of checks, $13,000. That's not the case anymore. It started, of course, in LA, with LA saying the pandemic's not over. Then Warren Buffett saying the pandemic's not over. Then the airlines are saying the pandemic's not over. And now the news, as of last Thursday, is really very severe. Japan going on a lock on a new state of emergency, banning all spectators at the Olympic Games because of the pandemic. And Missouri, 80% capacity of ICU beds because of the pandemic. Things are changing dramatically. With that, That signals that the House bill could, in fact, actually pay out monthly checks for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. That would mean more than 12 checks, and certainly more than $13,000 from the House. So compare it against this and the Senate. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuned in from and how's the weather. I think you have an opinion, and the opinion may be different than a week ago. I know mine is. Vote House or Senate. I want to see you in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is where you're tuning in from. Those Democrats represent that everyone who got a third stimulus check will get a fourth. Democrats represent single individuals, 75,000 less. You get a fourth stimulus check. Democrats represent married couple, 150,000 less. You get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Democrats represent family four. You get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent you. We get a fourth stimulus check. Fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. Fourth stimulus check would be the same amount for everyone, including adult dependents. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It wouldn't come in a wave. It's not a waivable check. So if you do see a check trying to surf at the surf shop tonight, and you see the check, checking out a new surfboard, and you look down at the check shoes and say, hey, and you look at their socks. Hey, check, I see those. What are those? Tube socks? Surfer humor. Check didn't laugh back at me. Oh, go choke on a pipe dream. Rude check. It's not a rude check. It's just not, doesn't like surfer humor. Doesn't understand surfer jokes. The fourth stimulus check would come in the month of July for the month of July the Democrats represent. And in the month of August for the month of August the Democrats represent. But what happened to that July 4th date that Chuck Schumer represented Nancy Pelosi? I'll explain that in the third part of this video. As the third part of this video goes over the bill, the votes, the dates, what's going on next week. What did Chuck say just hours ago? It's all really exciting news. It's the final 15 minutes of the video. Stay to the very end. It's heating up. In the second part of this video, we go over the recon, and that recon has other money for you. It's exciting. I'll go over what that other money is and what it should be in the second part of this video. But first, a preview of the fifth stimulus in this video. Commissioner Saul, head of Social Security Administration, fired on Friday, and now vowing to sue, saying he's going to show up to work on Monday. Oh, my goodness. It's a little dramatic. It's more dramatic than meatless tacos. I'll have all the details and why that does or doesn't impact your fifth stimulus raise of your benefits coming up this fall. But first, let's get some money. That's what I do on this channel. And congratulations. If you have gotten any money from this channel, jump in the live chat right now. You are killing it. Last night's evenings LA, the numbers were astronomical. As to rent, post the money you got from rent. Viewers were I was saying that rent is about $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. I was wrong. Viewers on evenings LA late last night posting $13,000 for rent. Post your rent right now. Nisi got $20,000 for rent from this channel. As to utilities, I was saying a couple $100. Viewers were posting $3,000 for utilities. Post your utilities right now that you're getting from this channel. Then as to Snap, I said, well, there's some viewers getting $5,000 to $6,000 for Snap. But viewers were now posting $12,000 for Snap. For John, post your Snap right now. And viewers are getting 3 items. Nisi, $23,000 she's getting because of the videos of this channel. Congratulations, Nisi. If you got multiple items, post them right now. Art Sullivan getting 3 items as well. I'm really excited for you. This is what this channel does. This channel's been doing this from day one. This channel was started to get people money, not to track checks, but to get you the actual money. In March of last year, viewers were not getting their EIDL loans, so I launched this channel. I got viewers $25 million of EIDL loans, getting people saving their business, their employees' business, and their homes. In fall of 2020, it became like now. When we were waiting for a second stimulus to pass, it was not passing, so I said, I need to get you money. It's the holidays. I got viewers $250,000. $250,000. Like Tyrone, $15,000 for rent for his family of 4 in Boston. But now we're doing the same thing. We're waiting for 4 stimulus to pass, and we're stepping forward and getting that big money. So get that pen and paper ready. If it must be a Crayola crown, remember, it cannot be muddled, because we don't muddle on this channel. We don't mushy or muddle or murder or myrtled. Myrtle, we don't Myrtle Beach on this channel either. Just making up words as we go along here. So get that pen and paper ready. You're going to reach out to different places to get that money. We're going to get that rent. We're going to get some utilities. We're going to get some mortgage assistance and homeowners utilities together as a family starting right now. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Are you ready? If one says no and the next, then reach out to the next one, it'll say yes. They also have their own pots of money. Here we go. City Hall, these are where you're going to reach out to. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage assistance because of COVID, or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stumalos or meatless tacos. You don't say other words they don't know, like range of option or teal monster. They don't know those words. They don't want to know those words. Their eyes would hurt if they heard those words. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of the money is coming back from your states. No, the next pot of the money is SNAP. I just almost forgot SNAP. Congratulations to John. He got $12,000 for his family for SNAP. I'm so excited. Lynn Glenn got it as well, and Gail got it as well. Lynn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. If you got SNAP, jump in the live chat. Post the annualized amount. So if you get $500 a month, post $6,000. You might need the Larry Kudlow calculator to help. All right, here we go. What is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. Where do you get it from? Department of Agriculture, DOA. How much does it pay? What is it for? It is money for food. Eligibility is just about the same as a stimulus check. If you got a stimulus check, why are you paying for your own food? Come on, go get it. This is huge sums of money. How much? $16,000 for a family of four in Hawaii. Wow, why so much? Because of two executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. I'm really excited for you. Post your SNAP if you have SNAP in the live chat right now. But you're killing it. $15,000 for SNAP for a family of four in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent, and we are only 11 minutes of this video. The next part of the money is the money coming back from the states. The states have been ordered to return money back to you, and I'm so excited for this. And one viewer 2 nights ago got $3,000. A week ago, earlier, someone got $5,000. What is this? This is the money being returned due to computer error of unemployment benefits. The federal government has ordered the money returned to you. Wow. So where? Direct deposit. When? You can track it by calling up your state unemployment department and saying, hey, where's that check due to overpayment of computer error? And can you track it with a computer that works this time? And finally, the last wonderful money is the refund check back from IRS. This is why a live chat really helps. Viewers have been asking, where has anyone gotten the check for a family of? This is why it helps. Jump in the live chat. When you get this money and you post the information, it helps someone else know, oh, they got it, so mine is probably on the way. When we're talking about money like SNAP and utilities, it inspires other people to get the money. It inspires people who got one item to go get other items, and it gives me an update about the big money to get it. So keep on posting everything in this video. Well, how much is this? Let's go over all the details. Cog got it, Margaret got it, and Michael got it. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of tax, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? A direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. You go to irs.gov and do a transcript search, and it'll reveal stuff that you never knew. Some stuff that you really don't want to know. Some stuff that you want to forget. It'll reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal where's the closest dealership for a Cadillac. It'll reveal, does the color wheel really work on electric vehicles? It'll reveal, when does the teal monster stop wearing teal? And finally, it'll reveal the tax return you're getting back, that refund check. Boy, can we top that? We can. And we go into the second part of your Four Symbols Check Update 2021, starting right now. Well, away we go. We now have a recon that's smaller and passable, but we weren't that way 2 Wednesdays ago. 2 Wednesdays ago, we had a big recon. And what was happening? The president was meeting with Nancy, Chuck, and Paul Daly over 2 Wednesdays ago, saying, we have a problem. This recon that's too big, which at the time had roads and bridges in there, will not pass because our Democrats have been polled and they say they won't vote on it. It's too big. So 2 Wednesdays ago, they agreed to split the recon, taking roads and bridges out and shrinking the recon. And that was 2 Wednesdays ago, the roads and bridges being put somewhere else into something that's called the bipartisan. That split happened 2 Wednesdays ago. That bipartisan has, the roads and bridges and all the American people's money staying in the recon. That two-path process was birthed, again, 2 Wednesdays ago. What was big and game-changing about this? Number one, it made the recon now passable. Conservatives now confirmed that in an op-ed released days ago, that the higher the top line price was for the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. By allowing Democrats to take out some provisions of the spending, roads and bridges, and put it into the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry to set you up, Chuck. Sorry about that. I mean, Mitch. Yeah, does it hurt, Mitch? Yeah, it is total set. The GOP then had nothing to gain by blessing the bipartisan because now it made an ungodly sum of money in the recon now passable. Well, what is that ungodly sum of money? Well, here's what's fascinating is now that the recon has been shrunk, the progressives have the ability to add a little bit more to that so-called ungodly sum of money so that you can get more money. And they confirm they are. We have the confirmation across the board. Representative Ilhan Omar confirms that more items from the progressives are being added in. We have a commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan legislation, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it. There you go. And then we have Representative Rishi Torres that confirms it. The linkage, he says, I refuse to vote for any bill that fails to be linked to the larger recon. And he's putting in housing. Housing? More about that in a second. And then we have confirmation the Progressive Caucus is meeting with the White House regularly to make sure their items are in the recon. How are they able to add other things into the recon? Well, because it's protected. Jalapal and that other progressive shots confirmed that the president likes that the progressives are protecting the recon. They consider the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon the White House's own priorities. So now that we know that the recon, which has shrunk and been passable and has had new stuff added into it, what other stuff is in there and what other stuff can be added in there and what other stuff is being added in there? Number one, you're going to see later in this video that the House subcommittee members represent that monthly forced stimulus checks are in there. Number two, we have the comment from Torres that housing's in there, but we really don't know what the housing is. Other than that, the president said there's money for children and adults in medicine, but we don't have a lot of specifics. But what should be in there? Well, the jobless claims number was released on Thursday. This is a number that tracks how many people who had jobs all last year, had jobs all this year, suddenly showed up to work last week and were laid off. The number went through the roof, 373,000 people. The prior estimate was much lower, 350. And then we had big concerns that the economy may be slowing. That's all signal that unemployment benefits should be extended. PEUC, PUA, FPUC. And if they expired, reinstall them for a couple more weeks. So can they do it? Absolutely. How about student loan debt forgiveness? How about mortgage forbearance? How about eviction moratorium? They should do it. If you believe they should do it, go on social media and push Purple Power because this is the opportunity. Remember, these House subcommittee members say they're going to put stimulus checks in there monthly, but they can always change their mind. So you never want to let up on pushing because we're not to finality of a law yet. You want to keep on pushing to make sure they keep their promise and they keep it in there. Well, here is exciting details. How do we get there? From Jalapal. Jalapal had written a letter to Chuck saying Chuck called the vote. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who were among the 100 plus who had written the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means subcommittee wrote the president a letter saying we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Oh boy. Now here we need to step back a second. A second ago I was talking about that they're protecting the recon. They can add stuff to the recon. They can modify the recon. What is a recon? How do you write it? Who writes it? How does this work? Who writes what and what's being written? Let me explain. A recon is a bill written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. In this case, GOP has nothing to do with the writing. Number two, who actually puts the pen to paper? Who actually writes it? The House subcommittees are the ones that are writing it. The Senate subcommittees are assisting them through the steps. Number three, When they're writing something up, do we see what they're writing up? No. So the Constitution has no constitutional requirement that House subcommittees show you what they're doing, show you what they're writing, show you what they're voting on. They can simply just do it, and then it happens. Number 3, it's important to understand that when you're looking at legislation, nothing is really written for purposes of legislation on the Senate floor or on the House floor. It's written in these subcommittees. And that ultimately, let's say you have 10 subcommittees. Those 10 subcommittees may be finished with everything. And then when they combine it, it just has an S or an H on there for House or Senate. But those 10 subparts are already finished. So what you need to know is that the House Ways and Means Committee is the subcommittee that's responsible for writing stimulus checks and unemployment. So they represent that they're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. You have to keep them to their promise. And if you think that they should have unemployment assistance extended or reactivated in there as well, then make that push. And that's incredible great news. They wrote your 3rd stimulus recon check. They represent they're writing your 4th stimulus monthly recon check. And they represent they're doing a 5th one. It would be next year, not overlapping. Can we top that? We can. As the president now has it official, the global minimum corporate tax rate is now official. It's now international law. The ceremonial signing was 3 weeks ago, but the official law became law this week. This is huge because now it makes it easier to pass 4th stimulus recon. 4th stimulus recon before had this provision in there, international corporate taxes, but it made it difficult to pass because it's a strange provision. Now, by signing this international corporate tax rate law into the books with those other countries, the president has a major achievement. It makes it easier to write the 4th stimulus recon because now you don't need these provisions in there about international corporate taxes. Number 2, it makes it easier to call for a vote. It makes it easier to vote and approve it. Boy, and can we top that? We can. As we go into the 3rd part of your 4th stimulus check update of 2021 tonight, as I go over all the breaking news, Chuck Schumer speaks out. I'll go over what his comments were. We'll go over the voting process, the bill drafting, the dates, the when, the how, everything that you need to know so that you are informed across the board. Then we'll turn to the shocking firing of Commissioner Saul. Does that impact your 5th stimulus raising up of your benefits like SSI, SSDI, and VA? I'll explain all those details. And then even more exciting news. But first, is there something more wonderful? Yes. The volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, internet, or SNAP, and you can't find it yourself, don't worry, we got your back. Reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll see an emoji of a house. Click that link. It says community page, news.lalate.com/community. On the community page, the volunteers are separated from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Reach out to them to help you get that money. And here's a little bit about them. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with more exciting details about 4th and 5th stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA Live Daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA with a huge final 15 minutes about your 4th stimulus. You're going to be shocked about the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to that Next 15 minutes coming up in a second. And then we go over fifth stimulus with the firing of Commissioner Saul. Wow, I'll go over all that scandal and whether it impacts your benefits. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers at YouTube record. Fastest growing channel there is on YouTube. Next up, 1 million. I want you part of this channel. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. Every like that you do helps the algorithm rankings. It also delivers a side of turmeric. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, no muddle blue. The link's at the top of the channel, the pinned comment, and also underneath the video. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto right after this video's over. It's a brand new Overnight's Crypto tonight. Then evening's Crypto at 7 o'clock, and then Sirloin, move on over at 8 o'clock tonight. Let's cut to fifth stimulus with the breaking news that Commissioner Saul, head of Social Security Administration, fired on Friday. Well, this immediately caused a lot of confusion. The president said he can do it. The president previously had gone to the Supreme Court and won over a previous firing of a person who should not supposed to be changed between between presidents. Certain offices do not get replaced each presidential term. Well, the president went to Supreme Court for that prior firing and won and got that person effectively fired. Commissioner Saul fired on Friday, but indicating he will fight. He may even sue, he said, and he's showing up to work on Monday. Okay. Now, does the firing of Commissioner Saul impact your SSI and SSDI reform under fifth stimulus? The answer is no. In fact, the SSI and SSDI reform under fifth stimulus is not coming from Commissioner Saul. It's not even coming from the president. It's coming from Congress. Congress says they wrote it because the president promised it on the campaign trail in the transition papers and has not delivered it. So they're delivering it. So there you go. How does this SSI and SSDI reform work? It'll raise your benefits up one big time. Then it'll apply a new benchmark, which is inflation. That then will remove income as well. Sorry, it would not remove income. It will remove the asset limit, and then it would remove the income cap and the marriage penalty. More about how this works in 1 second. But first, fifth stimulus will have another stimulus check. This will be next year, those House subcommittee members confirm. And it would not overlap with fourth stimulus. Number two, the president is dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration before the firing of Saul that ensures that you get money on time, third, fourth, and fifth stimulus, and also your monthly benefits checks. Number three, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things: file a tax return and request it on the tax return. All right, let's go now to this SSI reform. Who is this? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veteran benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, multiple benefits, this is for you. All your benefits will be raised up one big time under fifth stimulus. Then they'll apply the benchmark. Well, here's where everything is getting a little bit topsy-turvy. On Thursday, the 10-year Treasury note plummeted, which is an indication of where inflation is going. It went down to 1.25%. The decline seemed extreme, said Ed Hyman, founder and chairman of Evercore at the time. Well, I agree. I'm sticking with Jay Powell. What did Jay Powell say 2 Wednesdays ago? He said that inflation is going up, and it's going up, and it's going to reach its highest price point around December. Well, I'm staying with that because on Thursday, Wall Street was saying maybe inflation is going down now. I don't think that. I think they overreacted, and I will see a little bit more of that this coming week. But I do think that the inflation rate may be a little bit lower than we initially thought. So let's maybe say 5% inflation. First, they'll raise your benefits up lifetime, and then they'll step up 5% if that's the rate, based upon the new benchmark in December. But that's not just next year. That's lifetime. Wow. Incredible news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have a stimulus check and a voodoo doll in the hand. I can't believe I said that. Just kidding. They'll remove the income cap dating back to the 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to work, unlike Pat Toomey, and you'll be able to get stimulus check out, and you'll be able to also still get your benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Love is going to win. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You no longer fear loss of benefits, and if your benefits were ended, they would be restored. It would not be retroactive. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear a loss of the marriage penalty. And that is for stimulus. But boy, if you're sitting back and wondering, wait a second, there's all these people in the live chat. They have this purple hawk next to their name. How do they get that? Go into this video. It says join. By joining, you become a member. And if you see why all those people are posting comments that they got money for rent and utilities and SNAP and $5,000 and $20,000, how are they doing it? By becoming a member, I deliver daily to them a breakdown of all the big money in third stimulus. With PDFs, I break down all the big money in third stimulus. When third stimulus passed, I said, sure, you get a $14 stimulus check, but I'm here to cash you checks. And I said, I can get you $14,000 in the third stimulus because it was put in there for you to get. It's application based. And that's what those viewers are doing. They're taking all my information and really getting wonderful details and wonderful sums of money. So but consider becoming a member so you can get access to all this information about the money you can get as well. And with that, we're just in time for the final 15 minutes of your fourth stimulus check update 2021, starting right now. Number one, July 4th. What happened with July 4th? That was Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer's representation over 1,000 times. They said over 1,000 times that the final vote would be by July 4th on the recon. Well, why did they not get it done by July 4th? Because at the time they were saying that comment, the recon was massive and had roads and bridges in there. And they pulled their Democrats, and the Democrats said, at the time, we can't pass that. You need to take roads and bridges out. So they had to shrink it, and that shrunk the roads and bridges out. That's why they didn't get that done by July 4th, to which I say, okay, so if they took the roads and bridges out by that was 2 Wednesdays ago. That was before July 4th. So why not call the vote on the recon before July 4th? They pulled the Democratic caucus and said no, because you have to have the bipartisan ready for a vote as well. Now, here's what you need to know, and I want to be very clear and very emphatic about this. I am not your legislator. So if they don't call the vote, it's not my fault they don't call the vote. These are their statements, not my statements. So this was their story, that they have to have the bipartisan call for a vote close in time to the recon. Not what I want. This is what they say. And ultimately, they also have made very clear, but the GOP agrees, that the recon has to be called for a vote before the bipartisan concurrently. So which I would say, okay, well then just call the vote on the bipartisan, just call the vote on the recon now. We'll get to the bipartisan a few months from now. No, the certain Democrats said no, they would not do that. The vote on the bipartisan has to be close in time to when they do the vote on the recon. Well, maybe a couple of days, maybe within the same week, but, short, close in time. To which I would say, okay, well, is the recon done for writing? Legislators represent that the recon is close to done or is done for writing purposes. Well, how about the bipartisan? Is the bipartisan done? No. This is where the problem erupts, because under the month of June, when the president was meeting with Shelley Moore Capito, the Republican negotiator for the bipartisan, she didn't have a bill. She, in fact, didn't have a pen and paper. And then when the negotiations fell apart, he started negotiating with the bipartisan group. And they didn't come with a bill, let alone a piece of paper or a bill or anything like that. And so when he got the gentleman's agreement 2 Wednesdays ago for the bipartisan, he didn't have a bill for it, and he didn't have a written document for it. To which I would say, okay, well, wait a second. That's 2 Wednesdays ago. And that's almost 2.5 weeks ago. Wait a second. What's taking so long here? 2.5 weeks. This is why we are now at the place of hashtag write the bill. It's like 2020 all over again. This is just like the Democrats and just like the Republicans in 2020. Write the bill. 2.5 weeks and they don't have the bipartisan bill written? Not acceptable. These are legislators who we pay salaries to go to Congress to write bills. And within 2.5 weeks, they don't have the bipartisan finish. You need to push purple power. Hashtag write the bill. The bipartisan, the ineffectiveness to finish writing the bipartisan is not sufficient. we should not have recon held up because a bipartisan bill has not been finally written for a crumbling bridge that's been crumbling for 50 years. Now, let's get to the dates. July 4th, we just covered. July 15th, July 14th has nothing to do with fourth stimulus. That's third stimulus. Third stimulus is the money for the children, which I don't cover on this channel. Fourth stimulus has nothing to do with a July 4th or July 14th or July 15th date. Number 3, the vote. One vote, one day, never. This is not a dictatorship. And no matter how many times I seem to be saying this lately, some people are just simply still thinking that things are done with one vote on one day. That is a dictatorship. In a democracy, things require several items of voting. Even at a state level, even if you're at the states, your state senate, you have to have separate branches of the state senate vote on things as well. State House of Representatives, state senate. Congress is the same thing. We have a House and we have a Senate. They both have to separately vote on something. Then the president has to have the opportunity to sign it. Well, how many bills do we have here? We have 3 final bills when they're finished. And those 3 final bills are the recon procedural, the recon substantive, and the bipartisan. Those 3 bills, which I had detailed a gazillion times on this channel, have multiple steps of voting. They don't have to do each step as a different day. But there is 4 steps times 3. 12 steps to do. Starts on the Senate side, Senate subcommittee, then Senate floor, then House, then President. 4 steps times 3, 12 steps. They have 12 steps to get the vote done. Next, it's important to understand that when you're looking at the drafting, it's important to understand how drafting legislation occurs. It does not happen on the Senate floor. It does not happen on the House floor. It happens in subcommittees. And under the Constitution, subcommittees don't really have to show you what they're doing. They don't have to show you if they're finished. They have to show you the vote. And ultimately, they may be done, but that is not reason for you to say there's no bill yet, because all the bill is the combination of all these subcommittees into one document. For example, pages 1 to 20 are the House Ways and Means is 20 pages of the bill, and pages 21 to 25 are the House Budgets part of the bill. And all they're doing is just combining the subcommittee documents into one. So the legislation may be written in the recon in the subcommittees. They won't tell us, but they indicate it is or close to be finished. And just because it's there, not at the Senate or House floor, doesn't mean there's nothing written. Finally, it's important to understand that you need to push. Economic data sometimes is good, sometimes it's bad. And we're going into a very key number of weeks starting next week. What is it called? It's called earnings season, corporate earnings season. And when corporate earnings come out, Congress looks and the president looks. Are the corporate earnings bad? Are the corporate earnings good? If the corporate earnings are good, then fine. If they're really good, then they may cause some naysayers to say, well, corporate America is doing really well. Why do we need stimulus? If the numbers are bad, then that really helps you because, hey, they're struggling, we're struggling. But you have bad economic data this last week. Let's build on it. You need to push purple power. The economic data last week, horrible. The jobless claims number, bad. The stock market crashing. Japan's state of emergency. China slowing down. Worries that our economy is slowing down. The treasury yields falling. And the ICU capacity is getting really high in some states. All bad economic data. Use that for your benefit. Push to get that done, because that is support for why you need stimulus. Coming up next week, however, we wait to see if we are going to get blindsided by really great news, moderate news that doesn't do much of anything, or bad news that helps us. On Tuesday, PepsiCo, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs report corporate earnings. As to PepsiCo, Jim Cramer says, I think they're going to have great numbers, but we have to talk about raw costs and see if it's going up. In the middle of the week, the banks report earnings, and trust me, Wall Street and Congress are going to be looking at this, and the president, like Bank of America and Citibank, report earnings. Delta reports earnings. Cramer says, I'd like to see how much damage Delta is doing to Delta. And he says, we don't know if business travelers are finally coming back. They're probably not. If the number's bad, this may really help us. And then the end of the week are Alcoa, First Horizon, Kansas City Southern. Really important stuff. Finally, it's important to push. You've been doing a great job on social media. I really appreciate it, but you need to keep on pushing. Remember, the recon may be close to being finished or may be finished, but they can still modify anything at any time. They can take stuff out. They can put stuff in. This is not a donut channel. Donut in hand, feet up on the recliner chair. Just tell me when I'm getting my stimulus check. No, that's not what we do on this channel. You need to push because they can change their opinion at any time. And you should cause them to change their opinion. These numbers were bad for unemployment, so they should extend FPUC or reactivate FPUC, PUA, PEUC. It's important to note that for purposes of doing that, it's very simple. It's just a sentence. These unemployment programs were created by the first CARES Act, first stimulus package of 2020. That CARES Act was thousands of pages. But when they wanted to extend it for an additional weeks, it only took a sentence or two in the second stimulus package and the third. And if any of them are expired, the same thing. It only takes a sentence to reactivate something or to extend something that's a previous law. They don't have to rewrite the law. They already have it. It's very easy. So if you think you should have unemployment benefits or student loan debt forgiveness or mortgage forbearance or eviction moratorium or anything like housing, like Representative Richie Toy said, maybe a different type of housing, you need to push and get it in there. Ultimately, pushing is what's key. Finally, I really love all the viewers and your ability to digest information. Since day one of this channel, the number one thing that I've always seen from viewers is the ability to learn. You learn the difficulties of very complex EIDL loans and EIDL grants and collateralizations and working capital for EIDL applications. And then as we went into unemployment and I started doing unemployment, I had to go over all the complexities of whether you apply for UI first to get a denial before you apply for PUA. I showed you all that. This channel has always had to go through the steps for you to get money. And I love your ability to grasp information. With that, I really hope that you potentially help me in pushing back people who sort of pass through the channel, who are not subscribers, not members, who simply want to show that lack of understanding of information, lack of willing to understand information causes ignorance. Certain comments I've seen lately are not from subscribers, not from members, are really showing people simply don't want to understand how the government works. Comments like, well, they can vote on it on a Monday and send out the check on a Tuesday. The things are passed with one vote. Nothing is passed with one vote in this country. Or comments like that Congress has made up its mind 4 months ago and will never change its mind. Comments like, well, am I getting a check or am I not getting a check? And when something has not actually been voted upon as finality of law. Things aren't law yet. We have an emoji for that. And there seems to be sometimes these sporadic people who simply don't want to even understand how something becomes law. I understand reconciliation is complex. I understand that voting is complex. But high school rock, it's not a bill. It's not a bill. It's sitting on Capitol Hill. In grade school, people are taught how something becomes law. And it's important to understand if you don't know that, then you need to sit back and understand how something becomes a law. Legislators can change their opinion. Legislators can move. And legislators can get modifications. Certainly the piggybacking of a bipartisan with a recon is very unusual. And that's why the videos have been a little bit longer, because it's very, very complex. It's about as unusual as putting stimulus in a continuing resolution, which I'm sure none of us knew what a continuing resolution was before December. But that's the power of media, is learning information and learning from it. And when we learn from it, we can push. Not knowing what something is and not knowing something is ignorance. And ignorance leaves people behind. Financial stability comes from people understanding things. And when you understand things, you know how to make money on it. Viewers in the live chat who are making tens of thousands of dollars from understanding and watching these videos have been able to look and understand, I qualify for rent. I qualify for utilities. I qualify for SNAP. They're going out and getting that. Ignorance comes from someone who says, I talked to my neighbor on the porch and said, our county doesn't have rent. And this sort of stops. So I hope that you inspire other people to learn information, because financial stability comes from understanding things. And when you understand things, you can become financially stable. When you don't understand the item and you don't want to understand the item and you just want to jump to a conclusion, then you're dependent upon an outcome which you should not be. Ultimately, financial independence comes from knowledge, and that is why channels like our coverage of the crypto has been so successful so quickly, because when people are embodied with the ability to know things, then they can get it. And with that, I look forward to seeing you on Overnight's Crypto right after this. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. I get a great sum of information out to you, you digest it, and you love it, and you know it, and you can repeat it back to the next person. And as I get more information, I deliver it to you, and there will be a lot more information next week as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, so you're delivered daily. All this big money under fifth stimulus, then third stimulus, and certainly all the money on third stimulus you can get right now. Stay informed, stay focused, stay on this video. I'll take you right to Overnight's Crypto. Coming up right now.